Okay, so if you guys saw the first lifestyle video, you saw how we went about shooting it and all that stuff. And now we are going to be talking about how I go about editing a collection. Not specifically lifestyle collection, but just a collection. I'll explain kind of as I go through it what story I was trying to tell during that outing of photos. So between my drone and my Canon, I had about 500 images. I did you guys justice to not go through and pick out the photos, but really quick, how I go through a collection to select what photos I want to edit. I will go and scroll through this, and because I have a ton of photos, as you can see. So I have a ton of photos, as you can see. I'm not going to go through and edit them all. To choose which one I'm going to edit, I see this one, and I click the little flag key next to the one to flag it. So it flags this pic. And so I went through all of these. There you go. You can see the flags right here. That's how I choose which ones I'm going to edit. I think I chose a total of like 85 or so. So what you can do over here, when you're in the library tab right here, you can go filters, flagged. Yeah, so I have 86 total. I don't think I will use all 86, but I'll kind of show you my process. There's just a lot of similar ones and ones I just won't end up using, ones that aren't satisfied with the edit. Yeah, we'll go through it. So I'll start at the beginning. As you can see in this shot, my lens hood wasn't all the way on. Oops. So as you can see right here, these 7 are pretty similar. So I'll go through and like kind of look through them. I probably won't put that one in the lifestyle collection. So like these two are super similar. I think I like this one better. So I'm going to go back to this one and remove the flag by clicking the flag key again. I'm not super fond of this one because of the composition's kind of wide, that thing right here. So unflag that. This one also has a slight thing right there. I could deal with it, but I also don't like the composition in this one, so I unflag that. So I'll probably do this one more so. And it's kind of, what it tells me is we're out like having a good time, like chilling. There's the boat in the back here. There's Pat skipping rocks. It's just like a good time kind of on the lake, you know. So then I'll go through here. These are all pretty similar. Between these two, I think I like this one better, so I'm going to keep it, and I remove the flag from the other one. Between these two, I think I like this one better, so I think I'm going to unflag this one. And these are kind of all different pictures, so I'll leave them all together. Notice right here, the horizon line is very crooked, so I will press the R button and straighten it right up. So coming to these shots, selected these two because they're all pretty similar. You know, there's a boat, cool. But I like this a lot better with the guy standing there. His name is Kirk. He owns this seaplane. Nice guy. So I'm going to unflag this one because I like this. I like what is said in this one better than this one. These two are pretty similar too. So with these two images, it's kind of showing what's happening. Like, hey, it's a good time out here, chilling out, whatever. So I like this one because he's pointing. I think that's a nice touch to it. But I like the composition in this one better. Mess around here with like cropping it maybe to form a better composition or something. Yeah, I think I like that. So I will remove this one because it's similar. I have a lot of seaplane photos, so I might go with this one or might not. We'll see. Here's a picture of Willie walking into the boathouse. I really like how that one turned out. Have a nice foreground right here, and you have Willie in the back with all his boats. Here's Willie with a paddle. Straighten this one out a little bit. This is pretty underexposed. I'd usually shoot a bit brighter, but it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment shot, so I can fix that a little bit in post. Here's just miscellaneous. Here's miscellaneous things on his boathouse. Want more of a focus on it, I'll crop in there. Here's a mermaid with no bra on. Willie's a weird dude. Crop that in a little bit, straighten it just right. And then, I like this one. This one and this one are kind of similar, but I like the composition of this one, so I'm just going to keep it anyway. A whole collection of like Willie's cabin and stuff. Between those two, this one is better, so I will keep it. I think I like this one the best out of most of them because this one, it's missing the boathouse in it, which I like, the composition in that. But I really like these two shots a lot. And I'll probably just remove this one because I have enough pictures of the boat. I have 3 shots of Willie picking up a rock. So I'm going to keep... I don't like that one. I like this one the most, I think. You can't really see the rock as much in this one. Plus, having his face in the picture is like more distracting to what's being told right here, where he's like, oh, Willie's picking up rocks, and he's probably gonna skip them. So I like this one better because it focuses more on that story, you know? You don't have his face in there distracting you. So the story of, hey, Willie's getting some rocks and skipping them, you know? So, bye. Yeah, I like this picture a lot. I was pretty stoked on this one. This is his the other family who owns it. This is her just chilling with her feet on the feet hanging out at the cabin. So very pleased with how this shot came out, actually. A little bright, but nothing you can't fix in post. There's that. I think these are too similar. I don't like this one better than this one, so we'll remove this one. And here's a bunch of shots of Becca and her hair flowing. I like this one a lot, and I like this one. I'll probably remove this one because her eyes are closed in it. I don't like the composition in it, really. Up here is kind of empty. Yeah, so I'm going to just remove that one. I don't like the composition in this one either because I left a lot of space right here. I like this one, though, because it's more tighter in on her. Here's another part of the story. It's Alaska. We're in Alaska, so there's an AK for Alaska. Or Andrew Kearns, up to you, through it, but this is a drone shot I got with the unique drone. Yeah, I'll keep that in there because it's a nice little aerial view of it, telling more of the story from a different perspective. And then there's the island. I'm definitely keeping that because I'm very pleased with that shot. Shout out to Unique for the drone. It is killing. So, now I'll go through and edit these real quick. I'll go through these real quick on the editing stuff. I'm gonna use my preset because that's what I'm used to and that's how I'll make the video move faster. Before anyone asks, I'm not gonna give away my preset. That is because it takes a lot away from the learning experience of you guys to just have a preset and call it good, you know? It's very important to learn how to develop your own and not use others. I used a Visco preset for a while. And from there, I studied other Visco presets, saw what tool did what little tweaks did to the picture, and then I formulated my own off of a Visco preset. So just food for thought, have that idea in mind, make it happen, mess with stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna see, I have three presets I use. One has a little more contrast, one doesn't. I'm gonna use the little less contrasted one. Come in here to the tab over here, and it's a little warm. I'm gonna take that down just 2 notches. Quickly do this, bring the shadows down, bring the whites down. It's a little pink for my liking, so take away some pink with a little green in there. Before and after is the little slash key under the enter button. Way I get my soft look, often people ask, is I will do a lot with clarity. So I would usually put it at -10 depending on what the shot is. If it's a landscape shot, I usually will put it +10. I don't go crazy with it. Yeah, so there's that. I'm gonna see what this looks like if I crop off that little tree line. I do not like it. So yeah, just to complement colors, I hit Command-Alt-Shift-H. And I'm going to aim at these trees and kind of make them more orange. So you see it kind of complements the color a bit there, redoing it and undoing it. And from there, I'll look into split toning, add a little warmth to the shadows, and let's see if the blue works in the highlights. Not really digging that. Maybe bring down the shadows a bit to like 6, open it up. Again, in the last tutorial I taught on portraits, you can mess with this thing, see what looks good. I think a little bit of green in there might look good, or a little, I like that right there. That's nice and warm. Just mess around with colors, see if I like any up here. I usually don't do too much with my highlights unless it's like a blue tint. I really like blue tints in my highlights, but yeah, add a little sharpness to it. And then from here, so just thinking here what is going on, you have Pat skipping rocks, boats in the background. So you're kind of telling the story of, hey, like Pat's skipping rocks and they're out at the lake, like having a good time. So that's the story being told. I'll take these gradient filters up here, this little tool, and then you can hit M if you want for the shortcut. And you can run, like, you can kind of adjust the lighting just slightly with these. I use them a lot in my editing. So you see, I kind of made it, hold on. I'm going to take this one and adjust it a little. Maybe bring it down. If you hit the O button, you can see where it's affecting. Yeah, so right there is good, maybe. Before and after of those. Flip this little switch at the bottom of the bar. I like it, I guess. Actually, I don't. It's just a matter of like finding a way it looks natural. Yeah, so that looks fine. Not super pleased with it, but I can't really stick around too long on it. If I wasn't making a video, I might spend more time on it, but yeah. Hi, Pat. There you go. That's fine. That'll do. Oh, man. Getting texts. And then maybe run a small dark gradient right there. That looks good. Bring in a crop maybe. Yeah, that crop makes a difference. I'm gonna bring a little more of that boat back in. Yeah, I like that. And I'm gonna bring it over a little more. That looks a lot better with that crop. Before and after with the crop. Before, after, before, after. I think that really brings in that story a little more of Pat chilling at the beach throwing rocks. So there's that. Command copy. Yeah, I shot these at the same setting, so just paste it right on. Looks about good. I'm gonna crop up a little on this and maybe crop over. Yeah, there you go. That literally looks 10 times better with that crop in my opinion. Because you have that versus that. You don't have all this extra space distracting you. You still have the boat in the shot. There it is. I like that a lot. And that's straight enough. I'm gonna check my gradient filters, see if they're natural enough. They look pretty good. I'm gonna bring this one in a little more. That's the dark one behind Pat. This is the dark one below Pat. You can see what it's affecting as you drag it. Yeah, it looks natural. We'll call that good. I love shots like this. The full focus here is Pat. One bonus tip too that some people don't know on this this thing, the straightening tool. That's what it's called. You can click this, and you can faintly see the horizon line right there, and you can just click, drag, and drag it over here to the other side. Bang, straight. Bada bop boom pow. So that's cool. But then you can't always rely on that because that still looks crooked to me. So I'm gonna just adjust it a little bit. It looks crooked to me. It looks crooked to me because you have Pat going this way and this going this way, and it kind of looks like Pat's a little tilted. Like, we're in a boat, so it could be justified that it's fine, not a big deal. But me being picky me, yeah, we're gonna probably put it right there. He looks straight enough, and I don't think anyone's gonna notice the slightly crooked horizon line, and if they do, they're looking at the wrong thing. So there's them hanging out. So I'll just edit this one of Pat real quick, throw the preset on. One thing I want to do here, because you have all this highlights and stuff, you don't want it to be pure white. Like, I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm not a big fan of pure white personally. First off, I'm going to add warmth into it. So add a little warmth in there. Take the tint. See, you just adjust it around. I'm holding shift and doing the arrow keys to raise it and decrease it by 10. Bringing a little red into it. Bringing the shadows down. Bringing the highlights down a little. Actually, I do not do that. I don't like that. Bringing the... I think in this case I'm just going to leave the clarity as is. I think I like that a little better. Bring the shadows down, and then I'm going to selectively adjust the red here with the luminance and brighten it a little bit so he just pops. And then with the split toning, I'm going to add warmth to the shadows and then blue to the highlights. And I'm going to drag it down a little bit to the shadows and add a little more into the shadows as well. And maybe a little more into the highlights. We'll see how that looks. I like that a lot. I actually really like this photo. Maybe add a little more warmth into it. I'm a big warmth guy. I love my warmth. So bring it in, add some sharpness to it, because why not? And just kind of mess around with exposure, see if you like anything better as you flip through. That looks fine. I think as we had it was good. Maybe one stop brighter. And then I'm going to take the gradient filter, run it below, see how I like that. I like that. And then maybe a slight, bright gradient filter coming down. I like to compare these to see how it compares to white. My website is a pure white background, and so if I had these images being pure white, it would just kind of blend in with the background on my website, which I'm not too fond of. So I will adjust them accordingly so it's not pure white. Yeah, so there's that pick. I like it. I'm gonna make this gradient filter down here a tad bit darker, I think. I think that's fair. Yeah, like -87. If you want your gradient filters to look good every time, always put them at -87. Don't follow that rule, that was a joke. So copy and paste, bam. That looks pretty good. Brighten it up a little bit. Actually, just take off this gradient filter, because it's probably what's affecting it. Take off both gradient filters, go up and down with it. I like right there. Maybe take the highlights down. Oops, that's the gradient filter still. Take the highlights down, like right there, so you have some water in the back. Looks good. Bring that down. Mess with clarity, see what happens. Maybe a slight, like -4 or something. Nothing too crazy. And then, yeah, it looks good to me. This one's just a nice little, like, lifestyle. Like, you got Willie making threes into the water. Becca's pulling up her pants. Pat's pointing, telling Becca to get a rock or something for him. It's like midday. Actually, it's like 6 p.m. in Alaska time, but it's always sunny there during the day. Coming in here to the profile fixing, makes it less vignette. So, yeah, cool. I'm gonna take a gradient filter, run it below right here, and brighten it up a little bit. With bright days like this, I tend to overexpose more so. I didn't really do it in these pictures. I think I have my screen kind of set too bright, so I can't really tell if I'm overexposing it or not. But I tend to overexpose, so something like this, and then just come in here in the shadows and the blacks and just bring it down like that. It's a nice look. And then clarity, I take the clarity down on sunny days like this, upping the luminance on these trees, and then gonna see what saturating this blue looks like. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. I'm gonna create a little more darkness right there. Yeah, it looks fine. And just mess around with the highlights and the whites to see what it does. Yeah, that looks good. Come into split toning, add some orange in the highlights, some blues in the lights, and then I'm gonna take away some blues in the lights. Hold on, go back. Go back to blues in the lights, and I'm just gonna adjust this mainly. And then the one thing I notice is it's very purple right now, and that bugs me. So take some of that out. Yeah, so that's the slight difference, but I think that's a huge difference to me. I'm gonna change the hue of these trees with Command-Alt-Shift-H to do that. I'm also gonna change these blues because they kind of became this, like, I don't like that cyan color kind of thing. So change those blues. Yeah, and then I'm gonna come in here. I think that's good. Maybe illuminate the trees a little bit brighter. And we'll call that good. Not stoked on that image, but it's fine. One thing I like to do sometimes is like add grain. It makes it like a what's it called image, like a okay image that is like not the best editing. Look good. You see all that grain in there. It just looks nice and makes it look better in my opinion. And other people might differ, but that's fine. There's this one too. So come in here, straighten this sucker up. Our boat motor broke, and our bud Kurt here, who also owns this house, part of this house, helped out in fixing it, and he succeeded. Thank you, Kirk. Yeah, so basic thing as usual. Kind of just run down the menu. It's a little too pink for me. Bring that down. Bring down the shadows. One thing I need to do here too is take away this like vignette stuff right here, like on these edges. I shot it at 2.8. I don't know if I'd usually shoot this at 2.8. I think I just picked up my camera and fired because Kurt goes right there and it just was a nice picture. So, enable profile corrections. Bring a little bit of vignette back in. Take down the exposure right there. Go to basic and just bring down those shadows. How I think about harsh light is just keeping this very simple subject. Overexposing like that, so it's kind of bright. I could have even gone brighter, I think. And then bringing down the contrast and the shadows to bring back in the definition there. If that makes sense. That was kind of poorly worded, but Yeah, so add blue into the highlights, add orange into the darks, the shadows, add one more 22 in the orange, and split toning. Yeah, just bring shadows in a little more. Maybe see what I like that, I guess. It makes it a little darker, maybe not as dark, like -22. And then sometimes I like to take the sky. This probably won't work in this case, but I'll just tell you about it anyway. Take clarity down, and oftentimes with clouds it makes it look really nice because they're not as defined, not as distracting. I think it kind of works a little if you notice this island right here. You see how it kind of like just fizzles it out a little, and also brings like this island right here, it like fizzles out, like it makes it less defined, makes it less clear, takes clarity away from it, and also it kind of affects the top of the boat right here. Oops. It's just a nice little touch to it. Very subtle, but a little bit like that helps. So going down, I'm not going to go too much into it with editing all of these because we'll be sitting here forever. I'll go through a few more photos here. You have bright right here, and you have dark right here. So I'm just going to apply my preset here. Up the shadows a little bit, not too much though, because I like that differentiation in brightness and darkness. Take down the clarity, -10. It's a little warm, so I'm making it a little cooler. Then it's a little red, like most photos that come out of the Mark III, so I'm going to take it down a little bit to like negative or +1. Maybe brighten the exposure a tad. That looks fine. And then darken the shadows a bit more. Oops, the shadows a bit more. Let me see what the blacks do. Blacks don't do too much here. Don't affect too much. There. So straighten it out just a little bit. Come over here with my selective adjustment and make these a little more orange. Actually, no, I'm going to keep those green. That should be good. Check the split toning real quick. Oops. Split toning looks fine. It makes it a little too warm, so I'm going to come in here and make it a little bit more cool. I like that. That looks good. Before, after. Nice little whatever. I'm going to add more grain to this one too. Put it at 20. And maybe, let's mess around with the crop real quick, see what we can get. Yeah, it looks good. Change the green a little bit to a little more green. Brightening it a little more. And then again, just taking down the shadows a little to make a real contrast in there. Maybe a little less. Sure, that looks good. Cool. Then there's this one. I don't have to do too much of this one probably. Take down the warmth, make it a little cooler. Take away some of that red. Crop in a little bit. Let's do a cabin shot. Why not? So come in here, apply the preset. I think I like the middle one the most. Yeah, straighten it just a smidge. I'm mainly focusing on the exposure of the cabin, so we'll put it right about there. I think what I'll do for this is I'll leave it there and then adjust my colors here in the trees, maybe a little darker. Actually, let's try this. So bring it down to where I like the cabin at, and then illuminate the trees a little. Yeah, that looks nice. Looks fine enough. Clarity down, because it's kind of busy around here, so I probably will take the clarity down significantly to like -20 or 30. But check this out. This is a little tip that I like to do. Let me just get all my colors in here that I like. Come to split toning. Add a little blue in the highlights. I'm going to take away some of that blue. Bring the color balance down a little. The cabin's a little dark. I want to see if I illuminate it, what happens. Yeah, the illumination adds enough to it. So here's a big tip with selective adjusting. So come in with this tool right here, the adjustment brush. So you remember how I took all this and did 30 on the clarity. Well, that also affects the cabin. As you see, if I go back to normal, you get a lot more detail back in the cabin. So put it at negative 30, loses its detail back, but check this out. You can come in here, hit the O button to see where you're targeting, and you see as I draw, it becomes red. Alright, then I took off auto mask on it, so I could just paint in the rest down here. And then if you hold Alt, you can take away and drag. Alright, so that looks nice. I actually kind of like how the exposure is bumped up on it there. It kind of pops it out nicely. Darken it a little bit. Just getting my exposure right real quick before I show you this neat little trick. Maybe right there. So I took negative 30 right here in the global clarity. So if I do a local adjustment on this and add 30 back in, puts it right back to normal, and it pops that cabin right out, really. You can even add a little bit more in there. Something like that. Looks nice. Yeah, so that's a bonus tip. I do that a lot with portraits too. I'll take the clarity down and then paint them, and then yeah, I'll add clarity back into them. So pretty good tip. Let's see, one more photo here. This is very uneven lighting. It is shaded in here. It is sunny out there. So apply the preset. I like that one better. Add a little warmth into it. Take away some of that red. Crop in a little bit. So I'll take the clarity down a little. Yeah, clarity down, shadows down, and then pop those whites up a little bit. Maybe the highlights down. I don't like that. That down a little. Whites up maybe. I just kind of tweak these little things for a while to see what I like and what I would want to end up with. I like that right there. That's a nice little contrast. Maybe a little less in the blacks. And let's run a couple gradient filters, one going down, or one going up that's darker, and one going down that's brighter. I'm going to bring that one down kind of into the dark so it feels a little more natural. Then I'm going to come into the split toning right here, add some orange to that, the shadows, and then add that to there. Make this a little more green maybe. Let's give it like a nice classic look. Lens correction, it's a little warped, but I like the vignette in there, so I'm going to leave that. Go down a little more. Yeah, that looks nice. I'm really pleased with that photo, actually. Yeah, darken the shadows a little more. Let's add grain. Cool, that looks nice. And we'll do one more real quick. We'll do one of Becca and the wind and stuff. We'll do this one. So first thing I notice is that there's a lot of vignette stuff going on, so we're going to go lens corrections, enable, maybe bring a little back in, not a ton. Come back down. I underexposed this one a little for my liking, so I'm going to bring up the exposure and then apply my preset, second one. Then first thing I want to fix is, I'll just go into split toning first before everything. Well, take away the clarity. And then go down to split toning, add some warmth in the shadows, and then come in here, add some blue to the highlights, maybe make it a little more green. I like the green right here, looks nice. Cool, I like that, and we're going to take this down a little more to put more emphasis on the warmth and the shadows. Detail, add sharpening in there, and of course let's add some grain. Put it maybe like 24 for this one. It's a nice grain picture. I'm gonna bring down the shadows a little. No, I'm not. Take down the highlights and the whites just to see what that gives us. And then I'm gonna come into the gradient filters, add that in, and then add a little one down here, a dark one, and brighten it up a little maybe. See what that looks like. Mess with the shadows, see what that gives me. Mess with the black, see what that does. It looks nice. Looks fine. Oops. Split toning. Just see what adding more does to it. Not bad. Cool. So I like that look. Maybe one notch brighter again. Maybe not. Take down the clarity maybe. Yeah, it kind of makes it like soft against her hair right there. Yeah, so that looks neat. I'm not too disappointed about that. There we go. I was showing you how I go about editing lifestyle and how I went about this whole thing on Caribou Island. We saw plenty of like cabins, we saw swing set behind the cabin, and it all just like fit the lifestyle and the story of Caribou Island. We discussed in the first video how you don't be super defined on what lifestyle is. It can be posed, it can be candid. I think one of the best examples of lifestyle photography that's posed is like brand work. So like if you look at Bradley Mountain, for instance, they have a very set like lifestyle for their brand. It tells the story of who they are through their pictures. That's a really good example, and don't overthink it too much. What I would suggest too is making a project out of it. Go somewhere like a small town near your town or someone's house or something. Document what is going on there, you know, like if you go to someone's house, maybe it's like, you know, so they like get out of bed, they like make breakfast together like a husband and wife or something, maybe like, and so you take pictures of that, and then you also take pictures of like the detail things, like maybe a flower they have, very aesthetic things, details, as well as what they're doing, how it's going, like the story of what's going on, you know. You hear a lot of people say, tell a story through your photos, and another way to word that is just like make a statement through your photos, you know. Have your photos display and tell something, you know. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out novel, and it doesn't have to be super impactful. It just has to be something that like, oh, like there's hanging out, you know. It's telling a story, a statement. And so yeah, I want to challenge you guys to like go out and shoot a collection, and with the intentionality of shooting the lifestyle that's going around there. I hope this helped you guys out. I hope the editing process went on. I didn't want to go over too many photos to take up so much time, and I more so wanted to display like how we go about shooting lifestyle. Yeah, so I hope that helped you out. I hope you have a better understanding of how to go about shooting lifestyle. Big disclaimer is I don't know everything. I definitely know some things, I don't know everything. Don't label lifestyle as one sort of thing. Make it your own. Be intentional about what you shoot, especially with lifestyle. Yeah, and by no means am I saying I'm pro at it. By no means am I saying like this is how to do it. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, comment below. I'll try my best to get to them. It's kind of hard to answer some questions through text, but I'll try my best. So, yeah. Later, guys. Till next time.